Right, okay. Hello again, everybody. So let's make a start on a drawing. Let's have a look at what we need. All we really need is some paper, some various coloured pens, although I've got quite a lot of blue because my character is mainly blue. I've also got some black pens because we're going to need those to add a bit of detail. Um, but yeah, let's make a start. That's one of the things I love about being an illustrator, right? Is you don't need much to make a start on a drawing, just some paper and some pencils. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to draw is I'm going to draw a little log for our character to sit on. There we go. Just get the very basic shape of a log. Maybe a twig is protruding like that. Very simple log. Let's give it a bit of colour. This is very sketchy, obviously, so we can be as rough and as ready as we like. Let's follow some of the contours of the wood, the bark of the log. I love drawing bark because you can just get thick and go thin, and it kind of really works. Thick lines and thin lines together work really well for bark. And there we go. Let's some thick lines. And there we have a log for our sadness to sit on. He's relaxing and taking some time out, which we all need to do once in a while. Okay, so I'm also going to very quickly draw some plants here, just to give the whole picture a little bit of context. Maybe sadness is sitting in the garden. Just kind of, biding his time, just watching the world go by. Let's give it some green. Oops, give it some green. There we go. So there we have our log. Last thing I'm going to do on our log is I'm going to take a normal pencil, a grey pencil, I guess. I'm just going to give it a little bit of shadow, just to kind of, again, give it a little bit of context. There we go. And also with this pencil, I am going to just give the log those great circles that appear in every log that tell you exactly how old a tree was that it came from. There we go. Okay, we have a context. Now, let's draw sadness. Now, the interesting thing about this character, I love drawing this character. He's one of my most favourite characters out of all my books, I think, to draw. And it took a long time to kind of work out what this character could look like. If you were to draw sadness, draw the emotion of sadness, what would he or she look like? And I came up with all these different ideas. Some of them were quite kind of scary looking. And then I thought, well, let's think about the emotion of sadness. How do you feel when you're sad? And there's all these kind of different things that kind of go into your head when you're sad. And it was very kind of a mixture of lots of different confusing emotions and thoughts and feelings. And the only thing that really felt right was to do this. Just something really scribbly and scruffy and all kinds of things happening. And especially when you're young and you can't kind of, you don't really necessarily know how you're feeling or know what these emotions are. And I just kind of scribbled, and it felt so good to scribble. It felt so good to kind of draw this. Okay, that's the main color. So it's all blue, but let's put another kind of blue in it. Oh, that's kind of the same. Okay, let's go for a bit of a darker blue. So maybe some of the scribbles are a different color, just to kind of give it a bit of variety. And maybe there's some that kind of float off on the side like that. Oh, it's so much fun to draw sadness. And in many ways, drawing sadness, this sounds funny, but in many ways, drawing sadness made me feel less sad because I was getting a lot of kind of emotions out on actually drawing him on the page. Okay, so there is our basic shape of sadness. It's great fun to draw. I love it. I very much recommend drawing in that way. Now, let's add a bit more detail. So I'm going to take my black pen. There we go. And I'm just going to give sadness his face. So a couple of eyes like that. Now, is he looking sad? He's sitting in his garden, and obviously he's sad, but I'm going to make him look a little bit more happier. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a smirk. He's starting to feel a little bit happier, I think, this sadness. Yeah? Now, in the book, for those that have read it, you'll know that Sadness's arms and legs are really long and really kind of windy and, again, great fun to draw. But because he's sitting down, we're going to have to be a bit clever. So I'm going to draw his leg starting from here, and it's going to go up there and then bend at the knee and then all the way down to the bottom of the log. And then there's his foot. And then let's draw his other one. Exactly the same, but maybe his foot's coming in that side. There we go. Yeah, and then let's draw his arms. Again, they're really long, but he's bending it up and he's just resting it on his knee. So like that. Let's draw his hand, just resting, just relaxing over his knee. And then his other one maybe comes out like that and just rests over his other hand like that. So he's just kind of chilling on the log. Last thing to draw on Sadness is I'm going to draw his little heart that is always showing. Because even though he feels sad, there's still a lot of love and a lot of soul to this character. Okay, there is Sadness. Now again, last thing I'm going to do, just to give him a bit more context, is, and for those of you who have read the book, you'll know that in this scene, he is sitting in his garden with his friend. So I'm just going to draw some leaves. Maybe he's sitting under a tree. Again, very sketchy. Number of different leaves on this vine. Okay, and then final thing, let's give the leaves some veins. So down the middle of each leaf is a line, and off that line you draw some little diagonal lines, and then you get the veins of a leaf, those great veins of a leaf. I don't know if you've ever run a crayon and a bit of paper over some leaves, but you get these veins coming through onto your paper. It's a great thing, a great way of recording what a leaf looks like. But there you go. Couple more. And there we go. I think he's about done. Look at that. There is my drawing of Sadness from the book A Shelter for Sadness. I would love to see what you come up with. You are more than welcome to draw your own version of Sadness, but maybe you could draw a picture of other emotions. What would they look like? What colour would they be? What shape would they be? Emotions like happiness or anger or love or all the other great emotions that we feel as human beings. I would love to see what you come up with if you get a chance to share them. Okay, thank you very much.